Well, let's start this show, shall we? Hi there. My name is Rusty Humphries. This is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. We're going to get started in a couple of minutes. Coming up, I was online and I saw a video by a young woman who was at the World War II Memorial. And what is going on there is it's heartbreaking. And I never thought I'd say that about the World War II Memorial because that is a place that is very close to my heart. And I'll tell you about that and why you should care coming up in just a couple of minutes. Also on the way, wheelchairs for warriors. And we're going to talk with the woman that was there at the World War II Memorial. Her name is Heidi Hansing. We're going to talk with her in a couple of minutes. But first, I want you to check in. Tell me who you are, where you're a deplorable from. And let's say hi, because it's more important that we get to know you. I know that kind of sounds corny and hokey and cheesy, but it's true. And while we're waiting for you to check in, like Ralph is there in Knoxville and David is there, what I'd love for you to do is a couple of things. Number one, make sure that you like the page that you see us on. If you're watching at Liberty One TV or Right Wing News, please just like the page, check in, say hello. Look for my page, Rusty Humphries. Just type it in. I'm in a blue shirt, and you could find me there. And if you'd check that out, I would sure appreciate it. So do that. Also, liberty1tv.com is a great place to go. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about wheelchairs for warriors in just a minute. I was online, and I saw a video pop up in my news feed. Now, I'd never seen this woman before. She was young and spry and excited and interesting. And I went, wow, this is kind of cool. So I watched her, and she was at the World War II Memorial. Now, this place is important to me because before they built the memorial, I was living in Nevada. And a state senator came up from Nevada and said, hey, Rusty, we got this deal we want you to get behind. They're spending $1 per veteran that served in World War II, and it's $22,000 for Nevada. And what we want to do is have you get behind it because we want to put state money behind it. I said, how about this? How about for once in the history of government, we don't spend government money? If you guys pass a law and say Nevada will be the only state that doesn't spend money on this memorial, we'll raise the money, and not only will we raise $22,000, we'll double it to $44,000. And they went, okay. The Democrats got involved. Oh, no, that's not fair. We want to spend $100,000 of government money. Anyway, this went on. I fought the Democrat Party. We passed the law in Nevada, and we ended up raising $1.5 million for the World War II Memorial. Thanks to the people of the state of Nevada. And Nevada's the only state that didn't give state money to the World War II Memorial, and that's one of the greatest things I ever did. And one of the reasons why I did that, and I'm going to get to Heidi in just a second, is this picture here. That's the grave site of my father, Captain Gary D. Humphries. He was killed in Vietnam. As you could see on the gravesite, January 26th, 1969. So military things have always been, and military people have always been very, very important to me. And I obviously can tell they're important to my guests too. Heidi Hansing is here, and she is with Wheelchairs for Warriors. Heidi, welcome. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Now, you're kind of, first of all, thank you. I kind of got you on a last-minute thing. You're kind of in the middle of nowhere traveling around America, aren't you?
I am, on my motorcycle.
You're a motorcycle mama, huh?
I am, yes. Proudly so.
What kind of
Lady of Harley.
A Harley, you got a Harley cycle. Okay, and where are you now?
I am somewhere between Intercourse, Pennsylvania, and King of Prussia, Pennsylvania.
I have no idea where those are.
Well, I didn't either until I got here today.
Well, okay, obviously I saw you in Washington, D.C. at the World War II Memorial. Where else have you been? You've been on a great trip.
Well, I rode solo from Texas out to California, Ontario, California, and that was to meet up with the Run for the Wall, this is the 30th year anniversary of Run for the Wall. Started with Vietnam era veterans. They start in Ontario, California, and ride for 10 days across the country to Washington, D.C. in time for Memorial Day weekend. And then we participate in memorials all along the way. And once we get to D.C., we visit the Vietnam Wall, and we leave our remembrances and memorabilia there. And then we participate in Rolling Thunder on Sunday, which is also in its 30th year.
Okay, let me ask you this: why do you care? I mean, I'm a guy. My father's on the wall, panel 34W, line 84. So I get it. Why me? But why you? Why should you care?
Well, I'm a former Army officer, and the years that I was in, which was in the 80s and 90s, we were trained, if we were so lucky, we were trained by Vietnam-era experienced veterans. And my dad is a Vietnam-era veteran. I think coming from a military family, I've always been very upset with how Vietnam veterans were treated when they came home from a disinterest-affected and disillusioned public. And I swore I would never forget. And I have names that have become like family to me, even though they passed right around the time I was born. I still believe in them, and I still love them from a distance. So,
that's
and
beautiful.
We also had we had POW and KIA families traveling with us for Run for the Wall as well. Wow. So that's what all brought us into Washington, D.C., and that's why there were so many veterans in D.C. This past weekend.
Okay, so you went to the World War II Memorial, and you saw something that really, really upset you. What did you see?
Okay, well, World War II Memorial, like for you, Rusty, is very precious to me. Both of my grandfathers served in World War II. And so I was going there to pay my respects, and I've been there probably 10 or 12 years ago. And I was disturbed to see some children clamoring on some of the monuments as if they were in a playground. I was not prepared for what I saw this time around. And what I saw when I walked in, it was very crowded. And there were people that had walked past numerous signs that said, "No waiting in the fountain," all over the place, both in pictographs and in English, all over the place. And yet, there were dozens on dozens of adults, teenagers, and children in the fountain, waiting, paddling around, swimming, splashing, screeching, treating it like it was a public amusement park.
It seemed like the only thing missing was using some of those panels as water slides.
Yes, I mean, I was so bothered. So I started to walk down, and I thought, no. And I walked out to the side where there's some areas for sitting. There's an area there for sitting on some slabs where you can kind of reflect. You can kind of look into. I was walking in on the Atlantic side of the memorial, and then I said, no, I've got to go say something. So I walked back out, and I took a picture of the no waiting signs, and I took it back in, and I started to show it to the parents of the children that were in the water, as well as the adults that were standing there waiting in the water with their nasty feet in there, their pants pulled all the way up to their knees. The children were fully clothed and rolling around in the water like it was a fun park.
Right.
So I went up and I said, "Did you see these signs when you walked in?" And many of them didn't speak English. And so they were shaking their head. And I said, "See this sign?" Well,
they pretended they didn't speak English.
Perhaps. But then I opened the picture up so that you could see the pictograph very clear, because on the picture that I took, it says, "Honor our veterans." And then it has no coins in the fountain, no waiting in the fountain. Clear pictograph depiction. So I would blow it up and I'd say, do you read English? Well, no, I don't read English, or whatever. So I blew it up and I showed them the picture, and they're like, "Oh, okay, sorry."
Right.
And then they would call their kids out of the water, and I would go on to the next group. I was so shocked that I finally went to the administration building to see what kind of authority there was there.
Right.
Because I had a friend who had been to Walt Disney, and many of your listeners may be able to recall that when you go to Disney World, there are a ton of water features everywhere.
Yeah.
But guess what? It could be July, August, and none of the visitors are in the water fountain at Walt Disney, where everything is fake,
right?
Where everything is meant for amusement. There are still no people in the water fountains, and yet here I was on hallowed ground at a sacred memorial, and everybody was treating it like it was a fun park, and it was just nasty.
Yeah.
And so I went to the administration building, and I confronted the very elderly, rather lackadaisical worker that was behind the glass, and I tried to record it. But when I stuck my phone in my shirt to kind of hold it in place, I accidentally turned it off.
Oh.
And so I wasn't able to record it. So I went back out, and that's when I recorded the video that you saw. And I was recording it for friends and family. You can see I'm very casual. I'm speaking very casually as I'm speaking to friends. I spoke to several groups of veterans outside. They too had gone to the authorities to try and say something. They too had walked up to people and said, "You're not supposed to be swimming in this. This is a fountain of reflection. This is not meant for play and party." But they had been met with the same resistance and the same disinterest, the same disrespect. And that was it, really,
Yeah.
Rusty. It was just the inherent disrespect. I promise you, Rusty, I would never in a million years go to a foreign country and go to one of their sacred national memorials and treat it that way. Never.
Yeah, can
Never
you?
in a million years.
Yeah. And I was thinking the exact same thing. Can you imagine going to Mexico or France or any place where they have some place of honor and doing that? Of course not. The first time I went to the Vietnam Wall, there were kids playing frisbee. And then I went I went up to Arlington, and there was a bunch of high school groups, and they're playing hide and go seek behind the gravestones, and the teachers are just, "Oh boy, I got other things to do." I just can't understand it. It makes no sense to me.
Well, when I talked with the administration employee in that building, he kind of shrugged. He's like, "Well, at least they're not skateboarding in there."
Oh, great.
What?
Yeah.
What?
At least they're not spray painting, right?
Right. At least there's some. But really, Rusty, how long will it be before it happens? How long will it be before that happens?
Now you've been on a motorcycle. There's a video that's gone viral the past couple of days of a woman in a swimming pool, and she's shaving her legs. And big heavy woman shaving her legs is real attractive, and I'm just wondering if that's what's next at the World War II Memorial. Might as well just shave them while you're there.
I don't know. I went to, after I left DC, I went over to Gettysburg, and I spent 2 days touring the entire battlefield of Gettysburg, which is vast in Pennsylvania. I mean, I had no idea.
It's way bigger than you thought, right?
Oh, entirely.
Yeah.
I could hardly believe it. So it took me 2 days, but at every memorial, because see, these are historical monuments, and they were placed there by previous generations, and there are signs everywhere warning you do not graffiti, deface, move, otherwise touch these monuments. Mm-hmm. They're everywhere because many of the monuments they're telling the story of the blue and the gray, of the Union and the Confederacy. And
haven't they torn those down yet?
No.
That's good.
It's only a matter of time. There is a beautiful memorial out there to Robert E. Lee, who himself was incredibly principled, and it took him a great deal of thought and prayer before he resigned his commission from the U.S. Army in order to serve his state of Virginia. And it was very moving. And I'm glad that they're taking care of it. The entire city, I think, sees itself as the caretaker of this heritage and of this history. What I did not see at the World War II Memorial was, other than the veterans, and Rusty, I'm a veteran as well.
And thank you for your service, by the way.
Oh, well, it's nothing compared to what they've done in Vietnam and what they're doing now. it's just nothing. I can't say anything more than that. But they were so upset, and I'm upset still thinking about it, that veterans who are the sons and daughters and the grandsons and granddaughters of those that served in World War II were left standing on the periphery outside of the World War II memorial because not one of them could tolerate the behavior that they saw inside. And I just would never do that. And when I told the administrator, I said, our veterans, your signs say honor our veterans. Our veterans are standing outside right now wanting to go in and honor the service, the legacy and the heritage that our grandparents sacrificed so greatly for. And there's no room for us in our own nation's capital, Rusty.
Did you feel like going down there and just smacking people?
Well, I mean, verbally,
yeah.
But yes, I mean, you feel such an outrage that kind of rises up in you that I mean, it takes everything you can to contain yourself. Even me just walking up to people, I saw some teenagers start to whip out their phones. Like they wanted to see a conference. They were gonna witness something. And I just thought, well, that's when I went for the administration building. But I'll tell you, they had one parks employee out there, and he couldn't have been a day younger than 80.
Huh.
I mean, he has no authority whatsoever. And one of the other women that were there with the veterans group, she said she had gone to talk to him. He was heartsick about it. There was nothing he could do. He said it used to be that when they told people to get out of the pool, they would wait for him to turn his back and then they would jump right back in. And then he said now he's not even allowed to tell them to get out of the pool.
What?
That's what he told us. That's what he said.
This is
he
just
said
crazy.
He's not even allowed to. So a lot of people who commented on my post, so I was surprised that it generated the controversy that it did. But some of the people said, why don't we have veterans go out there on their, and volunteer to protect the ground?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say that that's a bad idea. I don't really believe in bringing in, heavy state or federal authority. This isn't a police action. I think it really would take some veterans to go out there and say, this is not allowed. Please observe the policies of this particular memorial. Don't get in the pool or I will physically remove you.
I would love to do that. That would be a fun weekend for me, just going around pulling people up by the ear. Get out. Get out. Exactly. But that's me.
Yes.
I'd get in trouble. Heidi Hansing is here. Okay, so you've also, not only did you spend time there in D.C. and you've been traveling, what's been the coolest thing in your travels? Because you're getting a chance to do something on a motorcycle and going around part of America. What's been cool?
Well, I think the Run for the Wall was an incredibly life-changing and moving experience because we're visiting memorials all along the way. But I can say probably the most touching moment for me was I had a chance to visit with a KIA family in a very small, dusty little town in West Texas. And the entire family, they're Tejanos, and they've lived in some of those low hills for 100 years. And everybody in their family has served, Rusty. And their favorite son, he was a chief warrant officer, Gianni Mota. He died in Iraq, if you recall, during the very convoy that was ambushed when Jessica Lynch was captured.
Oh,
remember
yeah,
that
sure.
entire scenario? He was one of those killed in that action. And I saw magic happen because Run for the Wall visits that family every year. They have instituted an entire military honor day, like one day a week in the schools. And they're Tejano families. And the neatest thing was I got to see one of our outreach coordinators bring together a man who is involved in that mission to bring Gianni Mota home. He was there on his motorcycle in little dusty town, Pecos, Texas. I was like, did I just see this happen? She brought them all together. The family was weeping. We're all weeping. I get goosebumps I'm thinking about it now, Rusty. They call it the magic of the run. So I would invite anyone listening to your program who is a veteran to consider clearing your calendar for next May and making a portion of the run or going all the way if you can. Probably the second most memorable thing was actually it's a very long detour I took to Houston, and that was to visit with Green Beret Joe Lowry, who was the first recipient of Enhanced Mobility Solutions for Wheelchairs for Warriors. I sent you a link.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to ask you about. Tell me about Wheelchairs for Warriors.
Well, we close the gap between what the VA provides to our wounded veterans and what they actually need to rejoin their life at a higher quality of life. And for instance, Joe Lowry, badass Green Beret. Oh, wait, can I say that?
You can say badass. Go ahead.
Okay. Green Beret, he was in the head when he was 29 years old, and his wife teases him because she's like, well, if you weren't so hard-headed, or because you're so hard-headed, it kind of saved his life. But he has hemispheric paralysis, so half of his body doesn't work and is paralyzed. In the VA's logic, he only needs half a wheelchair that works, Rusty.
What?
So he literally sits in a wheelchair that has one armrest and one footrest for the paralyzed side of his body.
Oh, come on. You just made that up. You made that up, Heidi Hansing.
Did not, darling.
Wow.
There are pictures of it on my wall, and I'm not kidding you, and he pushes himself around, and the batteries work, and sometimes they don't. And he has gotten stranded places. He is broken down in places, and he's pretty much on his own. We provided a custom built for him, for his particular injuries, for his particular condition, his limitations and his capabilities and his lifestyle. Because guess what, Rusty? These are men and women of action. They've been wounded in combat, but that shouldn't slow them down to the point where they're confined inside of their home in a chair.
Right.
Because you know what? It also confines their spouses and it confines their children because they can't move. And so we provided him with a chair that brings him up to eye level, Rusty, so he can talk to you man to man. You don't have to bend down and talk to him like you're talking to a child. He's eye to eye with you. It stretches him out flat for his rehab. It's fully customizable to his particular injuries. So he's going through some heavy duty electromagnetic therapy on his paralyzed side. So this will lay him flat. It can recline so he can sleep in it. And then we provide follow-on maintenance through our wheelchair partners.
Wow.
So he's taken care of.
So that is great. So how can we help you guys do this? Because I'm guessing he's not the only guy that has this issue.
No, in fact, if you know of anybody or anyone listening knows of someone who has substandard equipment and they need better equipment, go to our website at wheelchairsforwarriors.com. All one word, wheelchairsforwarriors.com. Just spell it all out. And they can either apply on someone else's behalf, or if you have a veteran listening right now who needs better care, better equipment, go ahead and apply. And then we're asking for veterans and first responders that have been injured in the line of duty.
Okay. Again, the website. Give us the website one more time.
Wheelchairsforwarriors.com.
Okay. It sounds awesome. How much longer is your trip across the country?
Probably another 10 days to 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. Well, maybe you can take some more pictures. We'll have you on the show in a couple of weeks when you go home.
I would love it, Rusty.
Okay.
I feel like I know you now.
I do, too. It's been a pleasure. You're awesome. Wheelchairsforwarriors.com. And do you have any other website you want people to go to?
Oh, rftw.us is the website for Run for the Wall. If you have any veterans that are interested in riding a motorcycle cross country or joining us somewhere along the way, they can check out the information there.
How about if I wanted to buy like makeup or something?
Oh, that you can go to my website,
What?
everskin.com/with/Heidi Hansing.
I was just thinking about getting it. I know.
I am not kidding. That's what I do. That's what pays my bills when I'm on the road.
What? I did my research? What? No. All right. Heidi, it's a pleasure. Best of luck to you. Have a great time, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. How cool is she, huh? That's cool. What a neat lady. And it just popped up on my Facebook page. Let me show you quickly the video that got the attention of what it looked like at the World War II Memorial. And then I want you to check in if you would, please. Oh, Tina's husband is 100% post 9/11. Well, Tina, you're in our prayers. All right, here's what happened in the World War II Memorial that kind of got the attention here.
Okay, so I'm at the World War II Memorial, and I have to show you this third world mess here going on. I'm going to turn it around. Okay. You see everybody treating the memorial like it's a park or a pool? They're all waiting in it, despite all the signs that says no waiting. See over here? Look at that. They're all acting like it's a park. So I took a picture of the sign that says no waiting, and I took it up to some of the parents. We already talked to him.
What did he say?
He said that he's not even allowed to say anything. And I went and talked to the guy in that World War II Memorial admin building over there. And he says, the minute you say something, you turn your back and they're right back in it. And I said, you've got a group of veterans who were standing out here. And I walked out here because I was so mad. I walked over that way and I kind of came around the outside. And we are all the sons and daughters of men that this memorial is for. And we are all standing outside while the freaking third world is in here playing in the water because they're so mad they can't stand to be in here to see this. And I already went up. I took the picture. I took a picture of the sign that says no waiting, and I took it over to those families over there, and their kids were rolling around in the water and paddling. And I took it over there and I said, are you able to read this sign? It says no waiting. Get out of the water.
And there's a pictograph too, so.
I mean, you don't even need to read English to know.
Oh, I understand that. We need to change this thing. Maybe we should start writing the Veterans Administration.
He says it gets worse every year, and the disrespect is so blatant that you've got the sons and daughters of these veterans, and they're standing outside and they won't even come into the memorial.
I get it.
So I was going to post this. Oh, you're leaving, honey? Oh, my babies. Let me say bye to you properly, okay? We're going to come out here and say bye properly.
All right, so that's Heidi Hansing, and I guess that was Memorial Day. And hey, let's turn the World War II Memorial into a water park. That's why I raised $1.5 million. I wanted to make it Disneyland there. No, I did not. And Heidi is absolutely right for being as upset as she was, and I had no idea that was going on there. Do me a favor, would you please? Would you check in? I want to know who you are and where you are from. Let us know where to send funding, Thomas says. Let me show you their website very, very quickly. The website is wheelchairsforwarriors.com. Wheelchairsforwarriors.com. And that's the organization she's doing stuff with. And looks like, there's so many places you can donate money. The question is it going to the right kind of place? And for everything I've seen, this looks like an amazing place to go to. So thanks for asking, Thomas. Wheelchairsforwarriors.com. All right, Flint is checking in from Deerfield Beach, Florida. Hello. Laura is checking in from Ohio. Carol is there from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Joni is a deplorable in Florida. Diane is there, says needs to be fences around it. But then it would kind of ruin the whole thing, wouldn't it? I don't want to see fences at the World War II Memorial. I want to see patriotism. I want to see, what's great about America. I don't want to see, what's crummy about America. Oh, you don't think it's crummy because it's the people there don't speak English? No, I think it's the lack of respect. I don't care what color or what language they speak. It's the lack of respect. America deserves to be respected. Our World War II veterans deserve to be respected. When I go to the Vietnam Wall to see my father's name, I shouldn't be dodging people playing Frisbee. There's a lot of parks in Washington, D.C. You don't have to do it in front of the memorials for the people that lost their lives. But that's me. I'm just a big meanie, right? Tina's the D.C. Metro deplorable. Tina, do you see that, or was that a weird day? Maybe the time that I was there and the time that Heidi was there, maybe those are the only two times that's ever happened. You tell me, Tina, you live there. Herman's in Ohio. Rowley is an Orange County, New York representative. Kara's there, says, even though I miss my World War II veteran grandfather like crazy, I thank God he doesn't have to see what the nation that he loved has become. Chuck is a proud Arizona deplorable. James is a deplorable from Western Colorado. Carol says she's on my side. So's Kara. You want to have your kids have fun and run around and take them to a water park or Disney? Yes, Raleigh, yes. I could be wrong. I betcha there's a water park someplace near Washington, D.C. I'll bet you there's even a swimming pool. I'm guessing. Diane's there. Charles says, every American should have to pay for the wheelchairs. Vets fight for your freedom, so you should have to pay for them. I agree. Becky's in Alabama, deplorable. Ron is there. As a veteran, I say make it a lifelike war memorial. Put water mines in the water. That would stop them from waiting, and people would get what it's like for the veterans they went through. Elizabeth said, what VA cemetery was that? Where was it? That was the World War II memorial on the mall in Washington, D.C. It is between here. Okay. So the Capitol's here, White House over here, Washington Memorial's here, Jefferson is over there, World War II is here. Go back, then you have Vietnam, and then Lincoln. Right there, Mr. Lincoln. Hey, Mr. Lincoln. That's how it is. Potomac River's right there for him. Yep. Lack of proper parenting. As a retired vet, I'm tired of being treated like a second-class citizen by our government. Yeah. I love Sarah Sanders. Every time I see her, I'm more and more impressed. I had never heard of her until she became the press secretary, and then again, every day she does something that I'm just impressed with. And some kid was able to ask a question today, and it got her all choked up. Thought you should see this. Just a quick little clip here on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.
And the young colleague in the back.
Well, thanks for the compliment.
Hopefully these aren't as tough as bring your kids to work day questions.
In high school, we recently had a lockdown drill. One thing that affects mine and other students' mental health is the worry about the fact that we or our friends could get shot at school. Specifically, can you tell me what the administration has done and will do to prevent these senseless tragedies?
I think that as a kid and certainly as a parent, there is nothing that could be more terrifying for a kid to go to school and not feel safe. So I'm sorry that you feel that way. This administration takes it seriously, and the School Safety Commission that the president convened is meeting this week, again, an official meeting to discuss the best ways forward and how we can do every single thing within our power to protect kids in our schools and to make them feel safe and make their parents feel good about dropping them off.
Yeah. Just the humanity. Just because we support the idea of the Second Amendment and you being able to defend yourself doesn't mean we don't love kids. Doesn't mean we don't want to see people getting shot up at schools. It's hard. But the answer that liberals have won't work. David, what a punk, bully, egotistical, narcissist, piece of garbage that little punk kid is. David Hogg. See the thing he did in Orlando the other day at a Publix? I love Publix when I lived in Orlando. They had a die-in the middle of the store. Put together by the narcissist bully David Hogg. Oh, you can't say anything bad about him. Yeah, well, I think he's a bully. I think he's a narcissist. I think the best thing that ever happened to him was this horrible, horrible, murderous tragedy, and he's going to milk it for the rest of his life. And that's a shame. It's a shame. You know what else is a shame? Man, I do not like the McCain family. I remember when John McCain was running for president, we were all supposed to love him. Oh, we're supposed to love him. I didn't like him. I didn't like him one bit. Now, I did like him more when he put in Sarah Palin. You hear the latest in his book. Yeah, my friend, if I would have had my choice, I would have put in Joe Lieberman. Oh, that would have been good. Let's put a Democrat in. John McCain. Now, I know I can't say anything bad about him anymore because he's sick. But the latest now is Meghan McCain. I remember John McCain's mom. Rush Limbaugh doesn't speak for us. Damn straight he didn't. You sellouts. Oh, they don't like me because I reach across the aisle. No, you live on the other side of the aisle. You love it on the other side of the aisle. You're only happy when you're sticking it to conservatives and Republicans. Oh, we're going to overturn Obamacare. Man, did he run on that? And then his egotistical, arrogant, John McCain. I'm like the penguin from Batman. Anyway, so John McCain's darling little daughter, when she had a talk show, man, was she awful. I remember they gave her a talk radio show. I told everybody it's going to be the worst show ever. One of the worst talk radio shows ever. Why? Because she has no convictions. She's just like her pap. And then she goes on The View, where she's on now, selling out. And listen, hey, good for you. I mean, I guess your mama's money wasn't enough. The latest is, did you hear this? That if McCain passes away, that they want to give his seat to Mrs. McCain. Yeah, we're just going to give it. Because he owns it, I guess. Don't you guys have you not taken enough from the state of Arizona? I live in Arizona. I guess they own like the Budweiser franchise or something. They're richy rich. Okay? Haven't you McCain's done enough? Anyway. Yeah, Bill said now his wife wants the seat till 2022. Yeah, no thank you. But here's Meghan McCain talking about Roseanne, and of course, it's Trump's fault.
I'll say that for me, I have been so disheartened by what's acceptable in the world right now, what's acceptable in the White House. And it's refreshing to see someone take a stand and say, no, not at ABC, not at this company. Yeah. This is not acceptable rhetoric. And it's interesting that ABC holds a higher standard to their employees than apparently the White House does.
Up yours, you horse! You piece of garbage. I guess ABC has a higher standard than the White House. Why? Because your pappy lost? And thanks to you, we had Obama for 8 years. We're supposed to like you? I'm sorry. I shouldn't get so angry. But it just ticks me off. It's just wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. You just don't like John McCain because he's... No, I don't like John McCain because he was wrong about everything. Let's see. Oh, did you see this one? I haven't heard David Hogg come out against this. Now, I was a video game player when I was younger. I wasn't into it like super crazy, playing for 10 hours a day, crazy. I mean, I was in early on. You know, the Pong, I did that. Man, I spent a lot of money in quarters at Tilt, the video game arcade at the SeaTac Mall. Spent a lot of money on pinball and video games at the 7-Eleven down the street in Des Moines. I played video games. Okay? I was there. But when they say, oh, video games aren't a problem today, they're wrong and they're lying. Here's the latest video game, but we're going to ignore this and just say, hey, it's not video games problems at all. This is just the way it is. Take a look. Look at this game. Does this look wonderful? So there we go. Let's get a little audio so you can hear it. It's a single-person shooter game, and you get to shoot up a school. Yep, we're just going to shoot up a school. But don't worry, everybody. Video games don't cause any problems at all. ABC hired Olbermann, yeah. Rolly was an Atari Pac-Man gal. Kara was Ms. Pac-Man, arcade junkie in the 80s. I even have, let's see. What do I have? It's in storage. But I have a Spirit of 76 pinball machine. I have a jukebox, Wurlitzer. I have a $6 million band pinball machine. I've got a football game where you had a little trackball. Space Invaders. I mean, I got a whole arcade. It's been sitting in a storage unit for about, 10 years, and I haven't touched it. Maybe more than that. Anyway. It's one of those days. It's hot here in Arizona. How hot is it? Let's see. Hey Siri, what's the temperature right now?
It's about 93 degrees outside. Hot.
Yeah, hot, yeah. 6:47 p.m., 93 degrees. So I'm about melting already. Galaga, that was a good game. Centipede, yeah. Have you followed me online at the HearMeOut app? You know, I ask every day, and it's like, some people do it, some people don't. It's no big deal, Rusty. Yeah, we'll get around to it when we care. Well, you know, it's important. Every day, you're being told what you can or cannot see online, not told to your face. It's a secret. And that secret makes it so that you might see my show, you might see Ben Shapiro, you might see Rob Carson or Unleash Jeremy Hands. You might see him, maybe. Or maybe not. And it's devastating conservative media. Absolutely devastating. What's happening here? Sorry, my computer's going crazy, go nuts over there. Why are you stopping over there, computer? That should be working. Anyway, if you haven't downloaded the HearMeOut app, I wish you would. I want to make sure that if something happens that we can communicate. Plus, it's a fun app. You know, you never know. I'm going to say something. Larry King's on there. He's actually pretty good. He's trying to do a war with Howard Stern. It's kind of funny to listen to. But if you would please, go on your smartphone and download the HearMeOut app. It doesn't cost you anything. Follow me, Rusty Humphries, and man, your life will almost be complete. Barbara says it's her first time watching. Rolly says, did you share this today? Have you shared? That's a good question. I'm not seeing a lot of shares today. Share the video. Share the video. Share the video. Share the video now. Yeah. And right there's a reason why not to. Anyway, follow me in the HearMeOut app. Also, if you are concerned about what goes online and what people, companies can find out about you, do yourself a favor. You need to have your own virtual private network. You really do these days. And the nice folks at Virtual Shield can help you do it. It's fast. You can't be tracked online. Go find out more about it. Go to virtualshield.com/Rusty. Enter the promo code Rusty. You get 20% off. All right? Go do that if you would, please. Becky already shared. Thank you, Becky. Rolly shared. Thank you. Kara shared. They all shared. Did you? Are you as cool as them? Share the video. Share. Did you do it? Did you? It's like 3D. Okay. Starting to lose it now. It's getting a little hot. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West, unless something else is important coming up. Raleigh says, welcome, Barbara. Rusty is a great host, sometimes serious, sometimes hilarious, and just sometimes an idiot. And I think maybe that would be this one right now. Heidi Hansing was awesome, though, wasn't she? Go to wheelchairsforwarriors.com to find out more about what she's all about. Am I back on the rock stars? Why, yes, I am, Kara. Drinking from my Buc-ee's cup. If you're in Texas, you know Buc-ee's. Can I get the... Yeah, I can't get the thing off. Tim's a first-time listener. Thank you, Tim. Don't forget, we have a great podcast, too. It is the Rusty and Breeze podcast. Basically, it's this show. Also, I do a show with Orson Scott Card, one of the greatest authors of all time, Ender's Game, and a bunch of other stuff. We do a show called We Review Everything, and that is also on iTunes and Stitcher and iHeartRadio and all those other great places. Anything else? No, it's not a Fred Flintstone cup. It's a Buc-ee's cup. Buc-ee's is a truck stop that's really cool, but they don't have trucks. It's like, oh, come on. Anyway, it's a cool place in Texas. My computer is making a mess over there. All right, that's it. I do appreciate you. I do. Thank you. May God bless you. May God bless America. I'm Rusty Humphries, and this is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. See you soon. Ba-ba-ba-da.